G'day legends, look, I'm not here to read your textbook, and I'm sure as hell not here to sell you some high-tech fancy pants coding garbage. But I did start learning AI 4 years ago, not to be some guru, but to understand my daughter's life in the Billa. She was 9 then, now she's 13. I was afraid back then I wouldn't know the world that she'd be living in by the time she was 15, so I've been doing AI courses, I guess, and anything, and using it in all parts of my life now for 4 years, but only in stuff that I'm grounded in, like hospitality and villa management and Balinese cultural and legalities. But now I've been able to release proper albums on Spotify and iTunes. One's called Systems of Light and the other one's called Your Inner Voice, under the label of Conscious Systems. Actually, the background music that is probably you can hear is from there. Now while I'm talking to you, AI didn't make those songs. Every song was written and produced and mixed by me using AI only as a tool to do the final bit, the generation of it, of all my work. And now they're all commercially licensed and I receive 100% royalties. The lyrics in all the songs come from specific times in my life. Funny thing is, I kind of unlocked and unintentionally created a niche market. The analysis says that 99.9% of my listeners are men, specifically aged between 45 and 55. I guess they see their life in my words, and we're talking hundreds of thousands of streams and user-generated content. And somehow I also authored and released a book. But I speak from scars, not theories. For 35 years, I lived the absolute pressure cooker of high volume hospitality. I went from washing dishes in Mexican munchies in Bodalla, close to where my hometown is in Narooma in New South Wales, at 16, to running massive pubs all along Australia's eastern states, to going overseas internationally to the UK, and I worked in Bristol, London's West End, Clapham Common, turning over numbers like 60 G's to over 100k plus a week in pounds, dodging flying pint glasses and going head to head with football hooligans without a security team or any backup. But I live by a street code where survival meant keeping your fists up, your eyes peeled, and your mouth shut. But while I was crushing it in the boardroom and on the floor, my brain, well, if any of you know me or watching this, my brain was secretly trying to kill me. I was fighting back then an undiagnosed battle called Bipolar Type 1. Today what I'm going to talk about and how I stopped fighting my own mind was dump the rage. And after being silently sacked with no income and nowhere to live in England, me mate Nath from Narooma threw out a lifeline to come and work with him in Bali, managing villas. So I did that for a decade with him. After a mutual parting, I started to build a simple but bulletproof operating system to find stillness. Modern businesses love a performative, polished lie. We're told to put on a suit, wear a fake smile and pretend the building isn't on fire. That's toxic positivity. And in a real crisis, it'll get you killed. I don't have some highfalutin theoretical MBA. My diplomas were earned in commercial kitchens, high stress hospitality operations, and the positive psychology of actual human survival. Your team doesn't need a boss who pretends, he's perfect. They need a leader who has walked through the fire, gotten burnt, absolutely, and can show them where the fire extinguishers are. Real leadership starts the moment you stop performing and actually start being real. You can't run on pure adrenaline forever. Your body is a biological machine, and eventually the check engine light is going to blow. For 2 decades, my manic highs were rewarded as elite work ethic and unbeatable stamina. But it was just a slow motion heart attack. My physical body completely buckled under the load of trying to carry everything alone. Slipped discs, broke knuckles, broke ribs, broken nose, cancer, constant internal bleeding. Do you know what finally broke the so-called enforcer? It wasn't in a pub, wasn't in a riot, wasn't with some outlaw biker gang in Newcastle. It was a customer rolling their eyes at me over a flat white coffee in London. My entire nervous system just shattered over a micro interaction. I remember going back to my room and I sat on the edge of my bed and I wrote what they call a manifesto, and basically going, enough proving, enough surviving, enough violence. It's time for a system. Most clinical folk look at bipolar or ADHD as a broken machine that needs to be heavily medicated, hidden away, shamed. I call bullshit. I've worked out a way to reframe it as an untrained awareness. The book that I released is called Bipolar Aware, and it's a method. We don't rely on willpower to stay steady, because when you're manic or depressed, willpower is the first thing that goes out the window. Instead, we use a simple, non-techie tracker. You spend 3 minutes every morning checking your sleep, your stress, and where you sit on a scale of 1 to 10. That's the escalation ladder. 1 being suicide, 10 being Superman. My mood hits a 7 or higher. You don't think, you execute. Predefined rules. Financial accounts automatically locked down to prevent impulsive spending. Phone communication, off. I enforce a strict 24-hour delay on all big decisions. I stopped being a victim of my mood and started operating my mind like a business. In hospitality and high-stress small businesses, chaos is guaranteed. Your head chef walks out on a fully booked Friday night. What do? Old Mark would have let the red mist take over, screamed at the team and the dishwasher, and burnt the place down. Calm authority is regulated muscle. You use the pause protocol. First, you acknowledge the trigger. I'm feeling a massive surge of panic right now. Don't judge it, just name it. Second, I redirect it. My panic won't cook the steaks, so what's the plan? Third, the anchor. You pull out your predefined emergency backup plan. Your tone as a leader sets the thermostat for the whole room. If you are reactive, your team will be terrified and toxic. Respect always beats fear. When someone makes a mistake, you correct the task, not their personality. You don't call them lazy. You point out that the standard wasn't met. I don't just coach this stuff in an air-conditioned office, mate. I test it every single day in a live business. On July the 1st, 2025, just over a year ago, my wife Ellie and I took over a struggling local sports bar in Carabockham called Sunshooters Bar. Had 5 staff, 0 systems, bleeding cash, dropping 43 mil in the low season. 43 mil in IDR is $4,300. I didn't turn it around by being some I can't even bloody say the word, characteristic boss who worked 80 hours a week. I turned it around by building simple, repeatable standards that any local staff member could execute with their eyes closed. Looking at the numbers now, our average monthly turnover sits between 280 and 350 mil a month. That's 28 to 280. It's between 28 and 35 grand a month. Our worst low season month under my systems completely crushed the previous owner's absolute best peak season month. That is the power of a living system over raw emotional hustle. A lot of expats come to Bali to run away from structure, and their businesses fold within 6 months because they run them on vibes. Vibes don't pay the rent, systems do. We implemented 3 non-negotiable floor rules at Sunshooters that require zero technology to understand, but they make the venue feel incredibly welcoming. First is the 7 metre rule. Anybody in the bar, cook, chef, manager, bar, waitress, anybody that comes in within 7 metres of any customers walking past on the road has to give them an acknowledgement, a look, a smile. How you going? That's all. Then we have the 2-minute drink goal. So the moment they walk in, they've got to have a beer in their hand within 2 minutes, or a water or a juice, even before they have time to look at their phone. And then we have the 3-touch systems, which ensures that there's 3 distinct check-ins during their meals, so no mistake goes unnoticed. It takes your ego out of the service and builds an instant sense of belonging. Now don't panic, I'm no coder, and you don't need to be a computer genius to use this stuff. I look at smart computer tools as a cognitive prosthetic, basically a digital crutch to protect my brain energy levels. Every business has a mountain of boring, repetitive admin work to do, and it sucks. It sucks, and your soul's dry. Drafting manuals, replying to online reviews, planning rosters, organising social media. We automate 80% of that. I can speak a quick voice memo into my phone, and within minutes, the machine spits out a perfect, formatted operational poster for my staff. All of my social media posts are done within minutes by letting simple digital tools handle the data crunching. I reclaim up to maybe 40 hours a month. That's time I can spend talking to my customers, supporting my family, and keeping my head straight. And here's the raw truth that most business speakers won't tell. They just won't tell you. The biggest threat to your business isn't a bad market or high inflation. It's domestic and relational stress creeping into your operational gears. My wife Ellie and I ran into massive friction. She is a survivor of deep trauma and was dealing with hormonal shifts, menopause. Hang on a second, I'm going to change my music. Sorry about that. Anyway, basically, we took her out of the situation, and she concentrated and focused on her own business. Abandonment test, realising that restructuring her out of the business brought me profound relief, proving her role was a systematic mismatch, not a personal abandonment. We decoupled our personal consulting income, stabilised Sunshooters under AU as my general manager and Sugi as my operational lead, and I gave Ellie the clean, independent space to run her own tattoo studio, which is extremely successful, called Lofton 5 Tattoo. We set clear rules, zero money talk after dark, independent accounts, and strict verbal time. We are moving into a brand new area where machines will handle the repetition. And in this new landscape, speed isn't your competitive advantage. Clarity is. The entire Lumindra philosophy is about shifting your life from survival to strategy, and from reaction to intention. You no longer need to prove you can suffer. You already did that. Now you prove that you can build something stable. If your current business or your personal life were a system, would it be designed to survive the fire? Or is it just acting as the fuel for it? Let's stop guessing. Lock in the systems. Walk into our ventures with real, calm authority. Lumindra.co is the umbrella company of Bali AI Consulting, Conscious Systems. Sunshooters Bar and Grill is the live, real laboratory. You want to see Conscious Systems in action? Come and see my staff. Come and have a coffee. Have a chat. You want to see AI, how it works in a hospitality business? Sunshooters Bar and Grill is everything is integrated and automated. I have a complete operations dashboard where I can see where we're at, how much stock we've got, what the P&L is, what our banking is, how much we took, how many covers, what the average per head was. It gives me reminders and tells me of events coming up, like the UFC, like the State of Origin. I get notifications from the machines. Honestly, I'm not some AI guru, but after learning it for 4 years and putting the conscious systems into place, people that know me from before and see me now, they don't kind of recognise it anymore, because I live off a simple philosophy. Just be kind and caring in everything you say, think and do. And when you do that, everything you do with positive intention. Why not? Because if everything's done in positive intention, you create a positive frequency from yourself, yeah? And when you emit that positive frequency out there, guess what? It attracts positivity. So whatever the outcome, it's going to be a positive outcome. Positive attracts positive, negative attracts negative. So when you do things with negative intention, you genuinely get negative results and a negative outcome. I meditate every single day. You know, they're not as big as they used to be, but they're still there. That's exercising the body. But we never exercise the brain. And that meditation I do every single morning and every single night, that's the exercise for my brain. That's my reset every morning, to remind myself to act in a kind and caring way with positive intention, creating a positive frequency, therefore a positive outcome. I've got no fear of the future. It hasn't happened yet. I'm living for the moment. I'm living in the day. And you know what? The one thing that surprises everybody, all the shit that's happened to me in my life, like sectioned, jailed, bankrupt, divorced, sacked, betrayed, I have no resentment towards it. No regrets. I genuinely, hand on heart, can say, I say thank you to that. Because without all of those lessons that I had through my 52 years, I wouldn't be the man I am here now talking to you at the age of 55 with nothing but care and compassion and a simple philosophy that a smile creates a smile. Positive energy creates positive outcomes. So yeah, that's a little bit about what's going on. And Sunshooters Bar and Grills on Jalan Bidadari, number 66, on the secret side of Sunset Road, Bali. So I'm not in the tourist area, I'm just on the other side, but believe me, I've got a lot of villas around me and they all have to walk past me to get into Seminary. And if I can catch them on day one with a smile and my venue being positive energy, I catch them for the week. I'm in their regular place every single day. And seriously, like, I've got 80 villas around the corner that have to walk past me to get into Seminary. And we don't put a menu in your face and say come in for a coffee or it's happy hour or show menus and try and drag them in. No. Because predominantly most of our customers are Australians. I've trained the staff just to smile and say, morning, how are you? Or, good afternoon, how are you? As they walk past. When they walk back, it's like, hey, how was it? How was your walk? And most Aussies, they're going to reciprocate that and they're going to talk. And while they're doing that, they're visually scanning Sunshooters Bar and Grill and like, that looks pretty good. And they come in. So there's no secret story, but the IP, the intellectual property of what makes Sunshooters Bar and Grill work is it's a platform for conscious systems and Bali AI consulting. It's a proof of work. You know, I worked hard. As we said, I took it over on the 1st of July and it's now, I don't know, the 8th or 9th of July. So I literally did 365 days in a row. And that's not a bitch or a complaint. It's because it had to be done. And now I can really concentrate on the conscious systems and the clarity mapping and helping other people. And Sunshooters is just out the front and it's a bonus and it's making money. And you know, I help people build websites and integrate business. I'm working on a job at the moment for a client who's setting up a fight camp up in Ahmed. So I built his website and did all his social media marketing, created like WhatsApp automations for maintenance companies and notaries, and there's so much. But you know, I spoke to a guy who is an expert in AI, and he had a look at my stuff and how much I'm charging and what I do, and he goes, mate, you're undervaluing yourself. And I kind of laughed and said, because I'm dumb. Like, I can't even do a formula on an Excel sheet. And he goes, no. He said, what you're creating, for example, your WhatsApp automations for businesses, the price you're charging, we do exactly the same thing, but we charge triple the price. I said, well, I'm not really doing this for money. I'm doing this to help other people. The more good I put out, the more good comes back to me. And seriously, living here in Bali with my beautiful wife and my beautiful daughter and our little dog Benji and our 2 cats, George and Maggie, and my team here at Sunshooters, Ayu, Sugi, Augustini, Rusty, Sayu, the kitchen team. It's fantastic. Some people say I'm living the dream. I'd have to say every country has its ups and downs. And so long as this place has more ups and downs, there's no way I'm coming home. Bali's my home. This is where I'm going to be. This is where I'm going to stay. The Balinese people and their culture is beautiful. I've probably rambled on a bit too long now. So there's one of these songs called The Pups to the Punch, which is, I think, that book over there that I wrote, The Pup to Punch, the Park. But anyway, if you've listened to this to the end, well done, because I probably would have turned off a long time ago. But thanks. Have a good afternoon.